Take the money and leave, please. The Swedish government is offering to pay immigrants $34,000 if they go back to their home country. The Conservative government's migration minister said that this is part of a paradigm shift in Sweden's migration policy. Migrants who leave voluntarily can apply for the $34,000 beginning in 2026. Now, that amount is 35 times higher than the existing grant, which has been in place since 1984. But officials say that it's relatively unknown and unused. For example, only one person used it last year.
Hello everyone, welcome to GNU According to CD, that is Government of National Unity. Ask me why I'm laughing. Ask me why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I'm already seeing the green, white, and green airports currently filled with them trying their level best to get themselves to Sweden, because this $34,000 is something that is going to start being issued out in 2026. So in 2025, those that will voluntarily leave Sweden, these are immigrants that migrated to Sweden, some of whom are illegally in Sweden. There was a video that I was watching about Sweden just recently, how Sweden has been overtaken by migrants. Not only overtaken by migrants, but overtaken by very violent migrants who have turned the face of Sweden. I mean, I remember back in high school, this would be around 1998, 1999, where we used to get visited. Believe it or not, guys, I don't know how widespread this was, but I went to an all-boys high school, and we would get all kinds of presentations preparing us post-matric. If okay, let me just put it this way. There used to be like job exhibitions. There used to be immigration opportunities. Most of these immigration opportunities would come from the United States. So basically, the United States was looking for South Africans to come and work in fishery, come and work in farms, come and work as well as, I can't remember. There's a lot of opportunities that were there. And so they would come to our schools and present those. And we used to even get promised that after 2 years, let's say working for fishery, you were going to get not only a green card, but a US citizenship. Oh yeah, they were also recruiting for the US Army. If you are interested in joining the US Army, then you become a citizen of the United States. Not only was the US coming to our schools and presenting themselves these opportunities for us, but we'll also have Scandinavian countries, one of which was Sweden. Now, Sweden around 1990s, especially towards the late 90s, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Iceland, and so on, basically the Scandinavian countries were experiencing a depletion of youth, meaning that there was now more old age than there were youth. So there was a concern there because the people in the Scandinavian countries were not interested in having children, and therefore the population was old, and so they came to South Africa. And especially for male South Africans, like young male South Africans, I am supposing these young male South Africans, since they were given opportunities to go to the Scandinavian countries, I suppose, I'm not saying it's true, but now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, our jobs was not only to gain citizenship of the Scandinavian countries, but also to breed the Scandinavian women so that the population grows and have more young population versus the old population type of situation. Yeah, believe me, this was happening. It was happening. And a lot of boys did take the opportunity to either become Scandinavian citizens, others chose to go to United States, others like myself were like, I think I'm fine here at home. I'm okay. Thank you. But those that actually did go, I remember a lot of them returned to South Africa. Not because they were being ill-treated or mistreated wherever they had gone to. That's because they realized, no, South Africa is better. I don't know what's wrong with us South Africans when it comes to our own country, but I think I did share a story about how when we travel, 2 days later, we want to come back home. we really want to come back home. Yes, there were those that remained in the United States. I have about four classmates that I was in matric with. I do communicate with them. They are already American citizens. One decided to become a U.S. Army guy. He's now a vet, as they call them, a veteran. He did serve in Afghanistan. He served in Iraq. And now he has full citizenship of the United States, and all of that stuff. He even has a whole United States family of his own, and another one who is in aviation in the United States. He lives in Florida, and all of that stuff. But there are some as well that went to the Scandinavian countries, and they do have Scandinavian families now. They got children and all of that stuff, and the population, for some reason, did increase as per the plan. However, though, while they were busy intaking people like South Africans to the Scandinavian countries, they were also experiencing a lot of migration coming from Serbia, especially during the unrest in Serbia, others from Afghanistan, others from Iraq during 2021, I mean 2001, and so on, if you already understand what happened back then. And as a result of that, it changed the face of Sweden. And now Sweden is experiencing some really, really dire consequences for those immigrants that moved to Sweden. And now the Swedish people have become so exhausted with these migrants who now do as they please, which is something I don't understand. Why go to somebody else's land and do as you please when you know very well this is not your land? And now I was shocked. I was like, what? Sweden, to me, is the most beautiful country on the planet. I'm talking about the landscape as well as the people themselves. In as much as they are not that friendly people, but they are still nice people nonetheless. And now the new government, who no longer oh yeah, before I forget my point, the reason why migrants were choosing Sweden is because Sweden was taking care of its citizens, just like how South Africa takes care of its citizens through social programs. The ones that make they say South Africans are lazy, they rely on their government, and yet the Scandinavian countries do exact same thing as South Africa does, taking care of its citizens, especially those that are unemployed, the old age, disabled, children, etc., and so on. That is just not a phenomena that is a South African, but also a Scandinavian thing. And I do believe that Scandinavian countries, their economic ideology, it is social democracy. So meaning that the state, in as much as a democratic state, it also socially takes care of its people, especially the vulnerable people, unemployed people, old age, etc., and so on. So those migrants, they were attracted to that, and they turned out to migrate to Sweden. Instead of looking for jobs, they were now relying on the government to take care of them, resulting with them not going to work at all. They will get houses, they will get money, they will get groceries, they will get everything that they wanted. So now the new party, I'm thinking the new government or somebody that is running for presidency, he wants to turn Sweden into a capitalist system where you have to wake up in the morning in order for you to have a roof over your head and money in the bank and food in your belly. You have to get up and go to work. No more free ride from the state. And now many migrants, they have been resisting this and also fighting back. As a result, they are burning Sweden. And now Sweden, this very same party, is like, listen, we want to get rid of immigration, in fact, illegal immigrants and immigrants for that matter. And another thing that Sweden was crying about is integration. Most of these immigrants refuse to integrate into the Swedish society, meaning that learning the culture, learning the language, learning everything about Swedish traditions, customs, and all of that. They still maintained their own cultures and languages. And of course, most of these immigrants are Muslim. And obviously, they're going to continue practicing the Islamic ways and things like that. And some have gotten so brazen that they started feeling so entitled to Sweden, so much so now they were demanding that the system of Sweden must be Sharia law or something about Arabic or Islamic and all of that stuff. And this is when the Swedish people's like, hold on, whoa, whoa, you are not going to come here and then inject your own culture to a country that does not belong to you. So now, because they want to get rid of criticism, like how Hungary was being criticized for its idea or its plan on getting rid of illegal immigrants, which, by the way, Hungary did a great job, and South Africa, I still believe, needs to learn from Hungary and Poland on how they got rid of immigrants, especially your illegal immigrants and things like that, because they no longer have that situation. The point that I'm trying to make here, here's this video that talks about how Sweden plans to get rid of immigrants in Sweden. And now that this has come out, I just could not help myself but think about the green, white, and green people tripping over each other, running to Sweden so that they can get this $34,000 that Sweden is offering immigrants to voluntarily leave Sweden. You have to leave Sweden, and if you do leave Sweden, you are going to be given $34,000. When you convert $34,000 in rands, that is about 616,000 rand. Now, tell me, as a South African citizen, aren't you thinking of going to Sweden so that you can get yourself this $34,000? I don't think South Africans are interested in that at all. But the green, white, and green people, I am telling you, they will be tripping over themselves just to get this $34,000. They have no interest with anything else but themselves. But themselves. I am so sorry. You know what? Every time when I talk about the green, white, and green people, the good ones, guys, you know who you are. I'm not talking about you. You guys are the great people. I respect y'all very, very much. But the ones that I'm talking about are the ones who with bad intentions. I mean, just like they will be crossing, going to Sweden, not because they want to leave Sweden voluntarily. It's because of the money. However, though, the question is, those migrants that are in Sweden right now, do you think they are going to grab this opportunity, take this $34,000? I think by 2026 it's going to be around $36,000, depending on the inflation of Sweden at the time. Do you think they're going to take this and leave and go back to Serbia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and all these other Islamic states that they come from? Do you think so? Or maybe they're going to grab it and go elsewhere. Goodness gracious knows that South Africa is always a choice of destination to come and bother. I hope South Africa will be ready at these borders and everywhere else. Seal them so that they don't come here, because $34,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money to start a spaza shop in South Africa. More than enough to start a spaza shop in South Africa and continue to disrespect our immigration laws. So I don't know. You tell me, what are your thoughts about this? I feel like this video is so appropriate to show and also observe what is going to happen in the next 2 years, particularly when it comes to the green, white, and green people. I'm sure those that already immigrated to Sweden, they are like, bring it on, bring it on. I'm signing my name, 34,000. Because there's nothing wrong in the green, white, and green country. There's no war. There's no economic, okay, well, maybe they do have an economic situation because the systems don't work, but they can take that money and go back to green, white, and green, probably start something there. Or they will say, I'm going to use this money by going to Colombia, put in a deposit, get some white powder, and ship it to South Africa. Yeah, South Africa We will always be the target. I'm just thinking, is Sweden opening a can of worms? And that they're repelling the situation and the problem away from them. But whose problem are these immigrants going to become? Are they not going to become British people's problem? Are they not going to become Irish people's problem? Are they not going to become Germans' problem? Are they not going to become Denmark and all these other countries' problem? That's what I think. Because that $34,000 is going to go somewhere. Definitely not to their countries, because probably they don't even know their country no more. Especially the children that were born in Sweden, they don't know Serbia. The only place they've known as a home is Sweden. So that's my question. That's my question. I like Sweden. I like Sweden because it has always been a neutral country, even during World War II. It never participated, it never took sides. It's always peaceful, always a pillar of voice of reason on the political stage globally. Now they have this immigration situation. So I need to contact some of my classmates that did go to Sweden and took Swedish citizenship back in the early 2000s and find out. I mean, they are citizens, so they don't have to take the $34,000 because some of them are actually successful back in Sweden. So I don't know. And to be honest with you, when this was presented to us, I did consider Sweden and Switzerland. But still, my heart was like, nah, South Africa. I'm a South African, full and full. I could not imagine myself not being a South African, even as early as I was in my life, back because this is high school. This is my formidable and impressionable years of my life. I still could not fathom being a non-South African, because going to these countries, you were going to denounce your citizenship. You were going to become a full citizenship of the Scandinavian countries with voting rights. Can you imagine? So I just couldn't. I was like, no, I don't mind getting a job there, but still be a South African citizen. So a lot of people did go there to Sweden to become the Swedish citizen. I don't know, guys. What would you have done in the early 2000s? Would you have gone to the United States and become a US citizen because of the offers that they were giving? And even recently, not even recent, but in recent years, Canada as well did try to come to South Africa. I remember my nieces and my nephews will tell me that they had Canadian embassy coming to their school basically to encourage them if they want to become Canadian citizens. But before they become Canadian citizens, they'll have to work X number of years. I think it was also 2 years for them, and then they qualify for Canadian citizenship. I was like, I think this was prior to 2020, the global whatnot, not, if not during that time. I can't remember exactly. But when I asked my nieces and nephews just before I did this video, they said none of them decided to go to Canada. None of them. The whites, the Indians, together with the blacks, they remained in South Africa. They did not take the opportunity to go to Canada. Again, it's a typical South African attitude. We love our countries so much that we are not willing to lose our citizenship for anything. For anything, we're not willing to lose our citizenship. Am I happy that I did not go to Sweden or Switzerland? Yes, I'm definitely happy. I am definitely happy, even though those that actually, this is what had happened. So I just draw a full picture. So if you decided to, let's say you signed up for forestry in the U.S., or you signed up for fishery in the U.S., or U.S. military, you'll be flown to the United States basically to be shown like a marketing strategy of some sort. And then you'll be shown the life, the things that you're going to do there so that you have an informed decision. Some of us who were taken to Sweden and Switzerland, and we got to see the life that is led in the Scandinavian countries. And some of the things that I did pick up back then was how free women were in the Scandinavian countries. Listen to this. For a woman who falls pregnant and gives birth, You have 265 days leave, paid, by the way, paid. 265 days. That means you only have 100 working days. If you are a woman living in the Scandinavian countries, particularly in Sweden, and you give birth, your leave is as long as 265 days. And also the males there, the way they are treated, they're treated like kings, irrespective of race. It was quite attractive. I'm not gonna lie, but still, I came back home and I was like, I'm gonna remain a South African citizen. Thanks, but no thanks. But the beauty of Sweden and Switzerland, that almost took me. I was almost sold. I was like, I would love to live in a beautiful country like this one. Absolute peace, and the air smells different. Doesn't even smell. It's so fresh your brain almost wants to scream and cry with joy. But, anyways, we are not there. I'm satisfied with the decision that I took to remain a South African citizen. But, anyways, this video, I thought, let me just show you guys. I know it's a news report from this channel. And I thought, my goodness, the green, white, and green people definitely will be flooding there just for this $34,000. Maybe while in the green, white, and green using their laptops. You know how they do things. You know how they do things. But anyways, I thought let me share this, guys, because I found it to be quite interesting and hilarious at the same time. Hey, Sweden, do what you need to do to get your country back, even if it means you have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars just to get rid of the rubbish in your country and get it back to its beauty and the reputation that it's always held. I love Sweden, but as a citizen, I don't think I would want to become that. To visit, great. I would love that. But yeah, I support this 100%. Sweden, well done. Hopefully, it's going to work out for you guys. I hope it does. But be careful of the green, white, and green. Be careful of them because they are definitely going to be tripping over to come and get this $34,000. Other than that, guys, I thought let me share this and I don't know, do what you will with it. I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.